remember giving my first speech. I was about 7 years old, 3rd grade. I spoke about the state of Pennsylvania, and I was so excited. I stood up there in my outfit, pretending to be the president, and speaking about why the states were doing all these great things. And when I finished my presentation, every single person in that class had their hand raised. And I thought, wow, I did a really good job. So I called on the first person and I said, you know, what do you have to ask? I have the answer. Except I didn't have the answer, because what she asked was, why does your face make those movements? I didn't have an answer, so I went to the next person. Why do you make those funny noises? Still didn't have an answer. My mom, sitting in the back of the room, said that she had never been more sad for anyone in her entire life. When I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. I had motor and vocal tics, which means that I moved my face and I made noises when I got nervous or pretty much had any other emotion than happy. Growing up like this was very hard for me. I was uninvited from birthday parties, from a lot of social events, because I was different than everybody else. What I came to realize is that those people who judged me when I was younger didn't do it because they were cruel or because they were bad people. It's because they had a serious lack of knowledge for my condition and my situation. And if they had just known what they could do to help, maybe things would have gone a lot differently for me. One thing I learned about my story is that Tourette's is never an excuse. It's never an excuse for why I can't do something. I live a normal life and I have made the best of it. I played varsity sports in high school. I made a lot of great friends and I did a lot of great things, just like I'm sure all of you did. One thing when I was little, I used to say the Serenity Prayer all the time. I don't know if any of you know it. It goes, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I used to blame a lot of people when I was younger for why I had Tourette's, for why I couldn't be normal like everybody else. But when I found the Serenity Prayer, I found that God had an answer for me. And I have an answer for you guys today, which is an explanation for everything that I have come to learn. If I could describe Tourette's in one quote, it would be this. Tourette's is just one big lifetime of tag, really. The world, or my brain, same thing, appoints me it again and again. So I tag back. Can it do otherwise? If you've ever been it, you know the answer. If any of you have a problem that you can't control, you know that the compulsion and everything else that goes along with that need is so great, and it really takes a physical toll on you. Growing up like this is very hard, it's very demanding, but it's also very rewarding. And knowing the difference between this gift and the flaw is really an important distinction, and it helps you grow as a person. That's me on my soccer team, the one with the big ears. Class facts, I took a survey, and 1/3 of you have met or know someone with Tourette syndrome. That's actually a lot more than I thought it would have been. I have never met someone with Tourette's other than people in my own family. 3/4 of you have little or no understanding of Tourette syndrome. And 1/5 of you have volunteered with people with related conditions. That can be ADHD or any other neurological condition that has to do with the frontal lobe and the basal ganglia. I don't know what a basal ganglia is, but it sounds really cool. Also, I asked you guys what was the one characteristic that you thought would make a difference in the life of someone with Tourette's, and you all said support, understanding, happiness, love, acceptance, hope, patience, and compassion. And I will actually be talking to you about compassion a little later on. The problem, people are more likely to judge a situation they know little or nothing about. How we do this? We see a difference. It could be a twitch. It could be me moving part of my body that I don't understand. All of you see it. The second part is our curiosity is heightened. Something like that doesn't go unnoticed. A person who comes up here and says something they don't mean to say, or someone who stumbles, you notice. We make assumptions based on what we see. If someone trips, you say, oh, she fell because she tripped over her shoe, or she tripped over that thing in the floor. You make assumptions based on your own perceptions, and from that perception becomes a judgment. Judgments are made every day from little to big things, but our judgment of other people are made based on what we see. And the reason the we is capitalized here is because we only see the world through our own reality, not the world as it is, but as we see it. And that's really important, because knowing that there are other people's views in the world might humble us a little bit to realize there are other ways of viewing the world than just how we see it. A few facts for you about Tourette's syndrome. Tourette's is thought to involve faulty regulation in brain circuits. Studies have established beyond a doubt that Tourette's syndrome is genetic, but the exact mode of inheritance is debated. Thinking back, I can tell you that this is true. Every firstborn on my mom's side of the family has Tourette's syndrome and has lived with it into their adulthood. So the possibility of it going away from me are unfortunately slim to none. And Tourette's syndrome contains both motor and vocal tics, like I said before. Motor tics are things that your body does involuntarily. It's kind of like having a puppet master. The puppet master pulls a string and your body moves, except the puppet master happens to be your brain, which is a little bit more complex than just strings. And this can cause severe social behavior changes. On the survey that I took, a lot of you said that you thought of Tourette's syndrome as having profanity or using bad language. I don't know if any of you have seen South Park, but this is a very bad misrepresentation about what Tourette's is. The percentage of people who actually do use profanity is actually smaller. It's actually more common to make animal noises than it is to use profane language towards teachers or adults. There are about 100,000 Americans that have Tourette's syndrome. This is a cause for a lack of knowledge because the population of people who actually have been diagnosed is very small compared to a lot of other illnesses or conditions. This is very small. According to the Tourette's Syndrome Association, recent studies show that the prevalence is about 1 in 10 for every 1,000 children. Adults are not usually diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. This happens when you are a child, and the reason that there is also a lack of knowledge about Tourette's is because as you grow up, the prevalence of it, or the chance that it will go away, is likely. So people don't learn about something when they're children from adults if they no longer have it. So that's another leading cause for their lack of knowledge. The solution, I have 3 things that I would like to talk to you about today: research, volunteering, and compassion. Research. We have the technology, the opportunity, and the time. We live in the 21st century. Most of you have a computer. Most of you have smartphones. Most of you have iPads or iPad 2s. I don't have one, but I wish I did. The opportunity and the way that technology is rolling, we have the information that it takes to understand this condition, and we have the opportunity and the time to do it. We all go to a very nice school. We are very lucky. We have a library over there with many computers. It's very possible to learn about this condition as well as other related conditions. And the time. Most of us spend about 4 hours, 5 hours on Facebook a day. If we took 1 or 2 of those hours just to look up things, it doesn't have to be about Tourette's syndrome. It could be about anything that you see in the world. We can know things, and we can make a difference. Which brings me to volunteering. The Tourette's Syndrome Association has very many chapters. And they actually have a chapter in Oregon and Washington. And what they do is they have support groups, educational and medical seminars, and they have social events. If I had known about this when I was younger, I would have definitely gone to one. The importance of this for someone who has this condition is so important because they need an outlet for energy. That's what tics are. They're an expression of energy. And in order to be able to express this energy in a healthy and a good way, you need someone to talk to. You need someone to communicate with, someone that understands you without judgment. It's a really good environment to get involved with. And because there's Oregon and Washington chapters, it's very easy for you guys to get involved also. And I left this. If anyone wants the website, they can come talk to me after. Compassion. Compassion is probably the most important thing that I'm going to talk to you about today because we are all hiding something. Whether it's an abusive past or our dirty little secret, we all have something that we don't want others to know. Mine is Tourette's. I just can't hide it from everybody. The golden rule really kind of establishes a foundation for what this means. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. It really kind of formats a way that we should act towards each other, not only with people who are like us, but for people who are not like us. And we are all capable of it. None of us is heartless. None of us has a secret agenda where we want to hurt people. We all can relate to somebody else, and we can all make a difference in their lives. One person that was determined to make a difference was Karen Armstrong. She was a 2008 TED Talk Award winner, and she spoke for the Charter for Compassion. And pretty much what she said was, compassion is an act where you step out of your own experience and you accept someone else for their flaws and for what they offer without changing them as a person. And I think this is so important because I have grown to accept every single one of you for who you are. I've gotten to know you as the nice person, the shy person, the very studious person. I would like to get to know all of you for who you are, and hopefully in return you can get to know me for who I am. I would like to leave you with a quote from Helen Keller. When we do the best we can, we never know that what miracle is wrought in our life or in the life of another. Thank you.